Welcome back to another episode of 25 and 25. I am your host, Charlie Watson, also known as Laredo, pretty much across social media. And today with us, we have a unique individual coming to us all the way from Toronto. He's got some interesting story, and hopefully we can get to the bottom of some very interesting questions and with some very interesting answers. And today with us, we have none other than Safir. Safir, how are you today, buddy?
I'm great, Charlie, man. It's awesome to be here, and I'm excited to do this with you. How are you?
I'm very excited for this. So we've interviewed together in an event broadcast before, but now I have a feeling that we're going to get down to like the nit and gritty of your mind, your heart, and your soul.
Love that.
We're going to learn a lot more today. So are you ready for the 25 and 25 gauntlet?
I'm so ready. Let's get to it.
Okay, so we're going to start off light and breezy here. So we're going to start the clock right now. So question number one, what is your favorite video game of all time?
Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers on PS2. Easily.
Is there any reason why that game comes to mind, or like what about it?
Yeah, Lord of the Rings, like since the age of 4, I think that was around the time Fellowship of the Ring came out. And I just came across it on TV, and I was like, Dad, like, is there a video game for this? He was like, yeah, I think there is. And we just went out and got it. And I've always been a huge Lord of the Rings fan. So,
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Good start. So question number 2, what is the best sandwich?
Oh, that is a great question. Honestly, I'm not much of a sandwich person myself, but if I had to pick one, something that involves chicken and like some basic salad. I'm not really a go-to guy with sandwich, but basics work for sure.
Okay. All right. So I think you're going to lose a whole bunch of followers off of that. So we'll hopefully pick it back up here with some other questions. So question 3, what's something that you own, Safir, that you really should throw out?
Something that I own that I really should throw out. You know what? Some of my sweaters from high school I still have at home. Also, I used to work as a cashier at No Frills, and I still have my uniform, and it's been about 8 or 9 years. And yeah, I've definitely outgrew it, and I should probably throw it away. But at the same time, I'm like, it's part of my history, like during my time in high school. So
Right.
yeah, has a sentimental sort of connection there.
I
Sure.
still have my name tag. So my first like real job outside of like working on my farm, I still have my name tag from when I worked at what used to be called Fryburgers, which was then IGA, which is like part of like the Sobeys brand now. And I still have,
Nice.
yeah. And then there was these like little stickers that you could get at like the deli. And it would say like you'd have to like put on containers, like it would like, you know, products contain like wheat or nuts. So we'd always say we'd always have the sticker so that when you flip the tag upside down, it says may contain nuts. So like we'd go around and be like, yeah, my name is Charlie, and it's like may contain nuts. So
That's hilarious.
I don't know
that.
what maybe I haven't thought about that since I don't know, I was like 14. So either way, but yes, the no frills, no gimmicks. I think that uniform could probably hit the hay.
And it brings a lot of memories, just like it did for you.
But you gotta keep those sweaters. That's something like wife, girlfriend, kids, like 15 years from now, will fight over those sweaters. Those are the best sweaters.
That's why I've still kept them, because I'm like, yeah, there's like a story to tell, and it also gives you an indication of how much you grew from that time. But at the same time, our wardrobe in my closet is just so full. So I don't know. I'll probably get rid of other stuff though.
Yeah, you got trust me, hold on to the sweaters.
Right on.
Okay, so number 4, what is the scariest animal? And this can be a bug, insect. What is your scariest thing that you would never either want to like combat, or something intrusive that would be happening that you just didn't know?
I am terrified of lions. Like, I actually find like lions really terrifying, because I've been to the zoo before, and this one time, I think I was like 8 or 9 years old. I was a kid just running around. One of them actually roared at me too from a distance, and I panicked a lot, and I would say I'm pretty traumatized from that experience. So, but if I had to pick something that you might find in everyday life, then it would be something like spiders for sure.
Okay, so you would never be like the fan of like the Detroit Lions in like the NFL or anything?
Oh, no way. If I had to pick an NFL team, it'd be the Bills.
Okay. All right. So you don't have any issues with buffaloes, just lions.
That's right.
Okay. All right.
That's exactly it.
All right. Fair enough. So question 5, apples or oranges?
Apples easily. They're so, I mean, they're both so healthy, but I have one apple every morning. That's my way of saying I'm a healthy person. Yeah, apples all the way for sure.
Apple day keeps the doctor away, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so question 6. Have you ever asked someone for their autograph?
No, I have not. Actually, I don't even think I really had an Oh, actually, I never asked for anybody's autograph, but I do have a signed Mariners jersey from when I won that one Leafs Gaming League clan a few years ago. So it was never directly, but indirectly it was Marner, which I love that jersey. I never wear it outside because I wanted to stay in pristine condition.
Right.
But yeah, never had the opportunity to do it in person.
So then sub question to that then, if you had the chance, who would you ask?
Probably Austin Matthews because he's my favorite NHL player. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you might only have one more year to do that, buddy.
No, he's gonna get extended.
I know. Well, yeah, anybody can offer an extension. It doesn't mean he has to he has to accept it.
He better
listen.
oh
we're
God,
both
he
in the
better
same.
accept
We're
it.
both in the same boat here right now. So yeah, and it's the playoffs are the playoffs are not helping him re-sign here. So
He's upset for sure.
yeah. Okay, so we're heading into question 7. So now we're gonna get a little deep here, Safir. Okay. So we're gonna wind it back a little bit. We're gonna get a little deep. So, what do you think happens to us when we die?
That is a great question. Okay, so well, my belief about that comes from my religious background. So I am Muslim. So Muslims do believe in resurrection. So basically, we're resurrected from the grave, and then yeah, so pretty much everybody is resurrected, and then there's like a determination as to what happens to you afterwards, right? The whole concept of hell and heaven, that kind of thing. So I definitely believe that we all come back to life essentially through our souls. So yeah, I don't think we're done after this life. I really don't think so. I hope not too, because that would be kind of sad for me.
So now, when you come back resurrected, is that only into another life form, or can that be into something else?
Yeah, from my understanding, I think you come back to life like not through necessarily your human body, but like your soul. And then like your soul kind of travels to like a different world. So like if you go to heaven, the belief is that there's like eight gates of heaven.
Yep.
Each gate being better than the one before. And it's like an internal thing. So you're there forever. And like all of your worldly stress, concerns, anxiety, like all of that vanishes. And it's like a very hopeful and optimistic sort of viewpoint. And I definitely believe in it. But yeah.
Well, yeah, that's awesome. So you always want to get to, so gate 8 is the best.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The 8 gates of heaven.
That's
you want to be.
That's where I want to
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. It's called like Jannat al-Firdaus. That's the name. Yeah. Like when Muslims make prayers, they're always asking for to make it to the highest gate for sure.
And what is the name of that again? Sorry.
Jannat al-Firdaus.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So yeah, anybody that's praying, they want to get to gate 8.
Yeah. So like we're usually like, God, please help us, like, accept our good deeds. May we be amongst those who like go to Jannat al-Firdaus. Like that's the sort of prayers that we make all the time.
So is like gate 1, and I don't want to be disrespectful, is that like where you're kind of like in the first waiting room to get to like the next wait? Like, is that like the beginning? Is that like the parking lot, so to speak, like to get in?
That's a great question. So you basically have your home base, so whatever gate you are in, and all of them they all have their unique characteristics.
Yep.
But then like say if you have like friends or relatives who are in another gate, you are able to travel to them. It's like going on vacation.
Oh wow,
and you can
that's
stay
cool.
there for a time. Yeah. But your home base, or like your house of God, like built a house for everybody, your home base is whatever gate that you're in.
That's very
The
cool.
houses are like believed to be made from like gold or diamond, that kind of thing. So it's really cool.
That's awesome. That sounds really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you very much for answering that. So now we're gonna bring it back here a little bit. So we're gonna take a step back away from being so deep. Favorite number? Question 8.
66. The reason for that is because kind of egotistical on my end, but I was born on the 6th month and on the 6th day, and it doesn't hurt that Mary Olivia used to wear the number as well.
That's right. So you got a birthday coming up then.
Oh yeah, turning 25. Not excited.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, 25 that's a good number too, though.
Time flies.
So number 9, favorite team of any sport.
Oh, Toronto Maple Leafs easily from the National Hockey League.
And the quick high level story of that, like what's the connection with the Toronto Maple Leafs?
Yeah, so I came from Afghanistan as a refugee, and I was trying to discover the culture and like the interests of people in Canada. Automatically stumbled upon a Leafs Penguins game back in like 2010, and I was immediately hooked. Although my main focus that year, I think, was the Habs playoff run against Capitals, but I was like, there's no way I would be a Caps fan. So I found hockey. It was a great way for me to find like my home here in Canada and make some friends along the way.
Very, very cool story, and I've heard that story, and obviously most of us know the story, but it's so awesome. That's
Appreciate it.
it's just such a great way to like not only connect you to Canada and then your hometown team there, but yeah, it's just such a phenomenal story, and I love hearing it. So thank you very much for
Yeah,
sharing
thank
it.
you. Yeah.
So we're heading into question 10, so we're almost at the halfway mark. So question 10 is, what is your favorite smell?
What is my favorite smell? Oh, that's such a tough question. I don't know. Oh God, I don't know. Is it Old Sprite or whatever? Like the body wash? Like that's the
Old
body wash I
Old
use.
Spice.
Old Spice, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, I would say that's a pretty good one. It's very popular in our household, so you kind of smell it all the time. So I'm pretty used to it. And yeah, I'm a pretty big fan of that. I'm not super like interested in things like colognes and stuff like that. Like I know some people are like obsessed with them. They're constantly buying things for themselves, but I'm more of like a, shower, use body wash and like feel good, smell good kind of thing. And yeah, Old Spice is a go-to at our household.
It's so interesting to hear people like think of what they like connect the smell to. Like, could it be, a scent of a woman? Is it something that they use personally? Is it food? Is it
Right.
like some like just a can? Like, it's so weird how people like first, or did they think negatively
Yeah,
about it, right? So like there's so many different ways that they can connect to it. So
that's so true.
yeah, no, so it's interesting to hear what you said, because like when you think of like Old Spice, like originally it was such an old man's brand. It would be like 70s
That's
and
right.
80-year-old men that were wearing like the old cologne, right? So like I
That's
was thinking
right.
my mother's father, so my grandfather on my mother's side, and yeah, because he always had like that old school little shit bottle of Old
Love
Spice.
that.
So like, yeah, it's so funny that you say that. And now it's such like a young man's brand, right? So they've really done a very very good job over the last like 20 years, like transforming that brand from like an old person's brand to like a younger person brand. So,
Yeah, I
and
was gonna say it's become popular, like at least our household in the last year or so. You have like my dad, my older brother, myself, and my younger brother. We're all like pretty big fans of it now.
there you go. All right, so we need that Old Spice sponsorship going on here.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, so we're moving on to question 11. What is your dream vehicle, Safir?
I'll be honest, I'm also not into vehicles very much, but probably like I don't know if I have any specific models or anything like that, but like something along the lines of like a BMW would be really nice. I don't know. We'll see. One day, maybe.
And is there one that, like, I know you said not a specific model, but is there one that maybe stands out to you a little bit, or?
No, not really. I'll be honest, I'm more of like because I live in the city, I've always been a guy that commutes all the time. So cars is something that I usually don't think about. But I'm like, I probably will get a car, especially if I go get more involved into teaching, going around schools and whatnot.
Yep.
But if I had to pick, it'd be BMW for sure. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So question 12, what's a destination that you need to visit? And I always think about this, like if I need to visit it before I die in a situation, but like where's somewhere
Right.
that you haven't been that you absolutely need to go?
Can I say two places?
You're supposed to,
I'll stick to
you got,
one.
you got to pick
I'll
one.
stick to one.
You got to
I'll
choose
stick to
one.
all right. I'll say Egypt because I feel like there's so much history there and like the pyramids and whatnot. And yeah, there's just so much history, both from like learning about how Egypt came to be, its people, but also its political differences over time, the religious influences, the region as well. So there's just so much history, and I feel like if you go to Egypt, it still has those glances of the past that you can revisit. So that's something that I definitely want to explore sometime in the future.
Okay. Now I got to know, what's the second place? You've hooked me.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
Yeah, like Muslims are required to go on like a pilgrimage at least once in their life, and that's something that I definitely want to do.
Okay. Yeah, and I'd love to go to Egypt just to like, just the history and all the things that we don't even, all the mysteries, right?
Oh yeah,
Of like the
exactly.
pyramids and all the I don't know if
So
you,
much unknown.
yeah, it's just, yeah, just there's so much that there's just still trying to figure out. and I'm absolutely hooked in like trying to like just like everything from like Joe Rogan and everybody talking about it and all these different scientists, and it's just the hole gets digger or a lot bigger, you know, the more that you kind of go through it and you learn more about it. So it's there's so many mysteries, and I'm absolutely hooked. So
Yeah.
very, very cool.
I've always been fascinated by their culture too, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we're now heading into question 13. So what is your biggest fear in life?
My biggest fear in life, wow, this is pretty deep, but I would say losing. I've never experienced like family loss, so sometimes I think about that, especially like, I mean, we're all getting older and stuff like that, right? So especially when you see like your parents get older, like that's, I've never experienced loss, so like thinking about stuff like that, yeah, it's very scary. But yeah, but I feel like it's a common feeling for a lot of people, right? Like losing your loved
Yep.
one, stuff like that.
Yep.
Mhm.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
and everybody obviously goes through it. So yeah, you know, at some
Yeah.
point you will, and it's just going to be something that you're gonna have to obviously process, and you know, you got a good family, good support system around you, so that's always something that helps people through that transition, right? But
Yeah,
and
totally
and
agree.
just through your own beliefs, right? Like just hearing earlier in your own beliefs, you know, that person and their soul being resurrected, and you know that's also something pretty cool too. So you know you've got that going for you as well.
Yeah, that definitely helps in terms of like recognizing like, oh, you know, stay patient, you will be able to connect with them after for sure.
All right, so this might dive well into the next question here. So,
Mhm.
do you believe in ghosts and or aliens?
Oh, that's a great question. Okay, I don't know if I believe in aliens. I do believe in a form of ghost of like, say somebody from that passed away might visit you or something like that. I guess that kind of falls along the lines of ghosts, right? But
Yep.
yeah, I definitely believe in that because there's like cultural and religious beliefs that are tied to that stuff. And I particularly also believe them showing up in like in your dreams, like quite literally. So I believe in that too. Yeah, I definitely do.
Okay. And when you think of aliens, do you mean like I don't mean like Martians or weird things, but like do you
Oh,
believe in like life in other forms outside of our planet?
oh, right. Yes. I wouldn't be surprised. I just like until I see like concrete evidence, it's hard for me to fully believe in it. Um, but I know that like there's a lot of research and like I know but like at the same time the universe is so large, like there has to be more life forms out there, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if there is, but in my current state, I'm kind of like, well, until we learn more about them, then it's just purely based on belief. Like it's possible, I'm just not convinced yet.
Right. Okay. All right. Good to know. So
Yeah.
question 15, dogs or cats?
Cats. I know it's. I don't know if that's a. I don't think it's a popular answer.
Do you, so
I would say
do you have cats that are pets?
I do not, but I definitely want cats as pets in sometime in the future. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, definitely. Dogs. I'm just like my best friend has a dog. His name is Buddy, and I see him sometimes, but it's just like I don't really feel that connection to dogs, to be honest. But
Okay.
I sound horrible, but yeah.
All right. Well, it's an answer, even though it's wrong. It's an answer. So we're good to know. Okay. So question 16. What is the most used app on your phone?
Twitter for sure. Just because of my involvement with NHL esports, but also outside of esports, like I feel like if I want to grab quick information about anything, Twitter is like my go-to. Because of the different like platforms that or no groups or parties that I follow or people. So yeah, Twitter's definitely my go-to.
Okay. Question 17. So you get one song to listen to for the rest of your life. What is that song?
That's a great question. I would say, you know what? I will go with Photograph by Ed Sheeran because it's like entirely based on memories. So like, you know, when you look at a photograph, it takes you back, you can feel nostalgic. And I feel like as people get older, you should cherish, first of all, cherish the moments that you're in. But as you get older, try to remember the past fondly. And, you know, we look through our photographs and experiences and whatnot. And I feel like every time I listen to Photograph by Ed Sheeran, it allows me to engage in that process of reflecting on my past and my growth and into the future.
Okay. Question 18. What is your favorite movie of all time?
Favorite movie of all time is definitely Lord of the Rings as well. Well, the trilogy. If I had to pick one from the three, it would be the Two Towers as well. Really liked how the story was carried in that one. You had lots of different subplots, for instance, with like Treebeard and the hobbits, like Merry and Pippin, going to Isengard, and then you had like Saruman and the Uruk-hai's attacking Rohan and Helm's Deep. So there's a lot going on there. And again, I was like 4 or 5 when I was first introduced to it. I binge watch Lord of the Rings every summer. Like that's a thing I do. I'm probably gonna do it again pretty soon. So
how many times have you watched it all together, do you think?
so I watch it at least once a year. So it's been what, like 19 years now. So I watch it at least 19 times, but I'll say all around like about 30. To be honest with
Okay,
you.
that's impressive. So would you
that's
consider
like,
yourself a movie buff then, or are you just a fan of that trilogy?
just a fan. Yeah,
Okay.
just a fan of trilogy and like Tolkien and like the entire world of Middle Earth. It's just so fascinating to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna try to sync up here, and
Okay.
so this is question 19. What number am I thinking of right now?
34.
That was so close. Out of everybody that, and so sometimes I will say the same number, or I'll think of the
Right.
same number. But what I can say is for today, you are one number off.
Oh, what is
So
it?
I can't tell you, but you're one number
so
off.
close.
That's correct. You
Wow.
you so far out of all the interviewees, you've been the person that's been the closest so far.
You know, I'm very proud of that because you're just like, it could literally be any number, even if you're thinking from
Give me
0
any
to
number,
100.
any number,
Yeah.
any number,
Wow,
right?
I'm very proud.
And so like the first couple interviews, I kept it the same.
Yeah.
And a lot of people know kind of my favorite number too. So then I was like, shit, well, I can't really do that. So then I just
Right.
started switching it for every interview. And today
okay.
I switched it again, and yeah, that was impressive. All right.
Obviously, we're pretty in sync.
We're connected there. All right. Okay. So okay, this one's interesting, and I always add a little bit more context to this. So this is question 20, and I always think of this as if I was in prison or in jail, and like I'm gonna be executed, capital punishment the next day. So what would be your last meal? And this could be anything, everything, and a drink included. We need to know what is Safir's last meal.
This is a great question. And you know, when you asked me about sandwich, I was going to tell you actually about this at that point. But we Afghans, we love what's called kabli palau. That's what we call it in our language, dari. It translates to basically a rice with carrots and with carrots pretty much. And then on the side, I would have what's called manti. It's like dumplings with ground beef in it. It's and then perhaps salad on the side. So that would be like my big last meal. It's a go-to special for Afghans. We have it at least once or twice a week.
So is there also a dessert and or a drink or many drinks that you would choose? Like what else would you add as complimentary to this?
That's a great question. So there's this drink that we call dur. In Arabic, it's like Aryan. It's like Aryan yogurt drink. It's a little bit salty. I don't think many people have tried it outside of if you're Arab or Afghan, you definitely have, but I don't think it's that popular here. I'll have to get you to try it. I think you'll like it a lot.
Okay.
But yeah. And then in terms of dessert, I would have what's called like baklava.
Yeah, of course. Yep.
Yeah, that's like a go-to that we have at Eat all the time.
Yep.
Yeah, so I think that would be pretty filling.
So
I don't
you're
think
so
I'd
you're
have any
like
more room.
so you're sticking like right to your roots. You're not wanting
yeah.
any North American food or any other country. Just like right to your
Yeah.
roots.
Yeah, and like that's also my way of like maintaining connection to my homeland too.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. Well, no, the baklava that would be, and then when you were explaining the dumplings, I think with like the meat in it. Oh yeah, I got hungry when you.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah,
I love
it sounds good.
Just add some tomato sauce on top, you know.
Yeah, sold.
You're good.
Sold. Okay, so question 21. We're heading into the final 5 questions, and I really want you to think about this one. So, what's something that no one knows about you? It can be a quirk, or a weird thing that you do, or something personal or interpersonal, just something that no one knows.
Right. Yeah. That's a great question. I was gonna say one thing, but I think a couple of people know, so I don't think that's gonna work. I was gonna say I'm double jointed, but
Yeah.
that might be a lot of people. Let's see. We really are in sync.
I found out when I was in grade 7.
Nice. Me
Yeah,
too. I
someone
think
was
it
like,
around
"What?"
that time.
Someone was like, "What the fuck is going on with your thumb?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" They're like,
That's
"Your
funny.
thumb can't do this," and I'm like, "What?" I'm like,
That's right.
"You tell me no one can?" And they were like, "Yeah, my thumb goes like this," and I'm like, "What?" I had no
That's
idea.
funny.
Yeah, so grade
I
7
love
was
that.
okay. So we got to know though.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Let me think real hard here. Um. This is interesting.
Okay.
I actually haven't been to the States yet. Believe it or not. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Okay.
I've strictly just been in the Middle East and in Canada, and as close as the United States is, I've never been to it. The closest situation of me going there was just this past December, but unfortunately, I didn't get my passport on time before the Isles phase event, so I couldn't go. But yeah, I've never been to the States. I don't think a lot of people know that.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. That's actually kind of surprising.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
That's
I'm quite
a good one.
surprised too, because I always make plans to go, but it just never works out.
Okay. No, that's a good one. All right. Now we know more about you.
Yeah.
Okay. So question 22. So describe the rest of your life in 5 words. Now, this can be 5 separate words, or this could be
Okay.
5 words comprising of a small sentence.
Okay. Journey, unpredictable, chaotic, focused, and inspiring.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would say probably 3 or 4. I'm really surprised about the chaotic one. That's a
Yeah,
very interesting word to choose for
the
this.
chaotic. Yeah, because the chaotic one is more so because of like when we first came to Afghanistan, it was like right after like the 9/11 event. So there's like a
Right.
lot of things going on around the world. Yeah. And then also for myself growing up, I never quite felt like I fit in at schools for many years until I found my connection with hockey and I could relate to people a little bit more. So it
Yep.
was a lot of like unease and yeah, stuff like that.
Well, yeah. Either way, awesome words to choose. I would not have suspected that. So either way, thank you.
Thank you.
So 23, favorite superhero ability.
Oh, that's a great question. You know what? I've always been a fan of Spider-Man, so I would say web slinging around a city. I
Okay.
think that'd be really cool. I wish I could do that.
All right. You first person to choose that one. So that was cool. And
Thanks.
and because you chose Spider-Man, so out of the 3 Spider-Mans, which one's your
The
favorite?
original. Oh,
Yeah.
the original.
All right. So
Oh,
Toby.
definitely.
Okay.
Yes. Like nobody can ever like outcompete him. He is the original. He's the true one.
Okay. All right. So I've got a stupid weird question here, but kind of an interesting one. So question 24: are you a back, side, or stomach sleeper?
It's a great question. I always try to sleep on my side, but I end up just going on my stomach and sleeping that way. It just feels so comfortable. I don't know. It feels like all my weight is just like gone at that point. I can't sleep on my back though. Like that's really uncomfortable. I just feel like so heavy and just it's just so uncomfortable. I've also experienced. I don't know if you've experienced sleep paralysis, but I've experienced sleep paralysis a few times, and every time that it happens, I'm sleeping on my back. So
It's like
I tried.
where like things are just locked or
Yeah,
like they're numb
I
or
know. Yeah, exactly. Like I know I'm awake, but I'm also like dreaming. It's so weird. But then like I can't move. And I know like scientifically, it's like your brain is like awake, but your entire system is not quite yet ready to respond to the brain. Like it's like when you're at a 50% out of 100 or something like that.
right,
But it always
right.
had. Well, yeah,
So
yeah. Every
so
time
you're
it
almost
has happened.
like lucid in a sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Okay. All right.
So
All right. So we are heading into question 25. And so the final question of the 25 and 25 gauntlet. So if you could hang out with 3 people, dead or alive or animated or cartoon, whatever, who would be the 3 that you would choose to hang out for the day?
that is a great question. First and foremost, I would say, as a religious person, I would say Prophet Muhammad, just because of his character and his personality. He was all about like charity and like giving to people. So a lot of his behaviors are things that I try to follow as well in my day-to-day life in terms of his kindness and compassion. So him for sure. I would say the other person would be Martin Brodeur, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I've always been like a big fan of like goaltenders. like 2010 watching Yaroslav Halak carry the Habs. So I was like, that's impressive. And then I
Yep.
looked into Martin Brodeur's history. I was like, Halak for sure. And then last but not least, actually, I don't even know. Oh, wait. I do know. Actually, no, not him. There's like a few people that I have in mind. I have to pick one. Oh, wait, I do know. My grandfathers, actually, well, both of them, but I guess it could be either one. I've never met my grandfathers. They passed away when I wasn't born actually. So
Okay.
I think it'd be, yeah, that's it.
So you're gonna pick one grandfather over the other? God,
Terrible.
terrible. Way to make the other one feel terrible, Safir.
I'll tell them to pick a number.
That's right.
And then we'll see.
That's right. Whoever's the closest, like what we did, right?
Exactly.
Right. Well, that's awesome. Yeah, the Martin Brodeur one is pretty cool. Because I believe, isn't he the career leader in saves and shutouts, and also wins?
Yeah, I just know that he holds the record for a lot of different statistics, and like also the way he plays goalie is so unorthodox. Kind of reminds me of Hasek as well, like the way he's unorthodox with his play style. But yeah, I know he's like a record leader for a lot of things.
Right, but Hasek was someone that like almost redefined the the being a goaltender, just like with how just how he would be down on the ground and then turning over. And Brodeur was still very much a stand-up goalie.
He was, yeah, but I feel like with Brodeur's time, it was also sort of like during the transition period.
It was during the hybrid.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, exactly. So for me, it's kind of like, despite that transition period, for him to find that kind of level of success is really inspiring, and just a testament to his overall talent and skill.
Yeah. I love Brodeur too. So no, awesome choices there, and I don't think anybody could fault you on your three choices, except for the one grandfather that's waiting. So. So either way, that's our 25 and 25 with Safir. So Safir, where can, obviously, your community now knows you better. People that didn't know you now know you a lot better. But where can they connect with you? Where can they find you across your platforms?
Yeah, thank you, Charlie. Yeah, so you can find me on Twitter at SafirSnipezGOLD. Same thing on Twitch at SafirSnipezGOLD. My TikTok as well is at SafirSnipezGOLD. If you want to connect on LinkedIn, it's Safir Sadouri. My YouTube as well, it's Safir Sadouri. My last name is spelled Sodouri.
Trained media guy right here. He knows how it needs to flow. So either way, thank you so much for being a part of our next installment of 25 and 25. I got to ask you as like an outro here. What's the question that was either the hardest or the one that you liked the most, or give us a little insight here out of the 25 questions. Which one kind of stands out maybe the most to you?
I think it is the hardest question, but it's also the question that I appreciate the most. It's like asking something along the lines of like, what do you fear? And that it could be anything. And I brought up like losing. I feel like it's something that's probably not talked about very often, and people kind of hold it to themselves and then they experience it. And I feel like conversations about that topic is very important to prepare people, but also to help them get through stuff like that. So I think that's a very profound question. It's well appreciated.
Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing, buddy. And have a good finish to the rest of the day. And that's a wrap to today's episode.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
All right. Cheers.